Welcome, everyone. My name is Małgorzata Bonikowska. I represent the Think Tank Institute, a partner of Masters and Robot Conference done by the Digital University. Welcome for this series of short talks powered by Think Tank. We have special guests during these interviews just to let you know a little bit more about the speakers and also to feel a flavor of what they will be talking during the conference. David Hanson, welcome, David.
Thank
Hello.
you very much. It's such a pleasure to talk with you today.
Thanks a lot for being with us. It's evening time at your place. David is a fascinating person. He is really like a Renaissance human being, combining the passion for mathematics and robotics with the artistic spirit. And he works for actually show business, among many others with Walt Disney Company. And he's also author of Robots with Human Look, if you can say so. So we will talk about robots today. David, if you can just tell us a little bit more about your career.
Sure, yeah. I have a background in arts and engineering and a strong passion for the deep questions of like, what does it mean to be alive? What is human? Can we make inanimate material actually come to life? And the arts are powerful for creating the illusion of life and extending the human mind into these artificial media, whether it's paint or computer animation, or in my case, AI-powered robots. We're at a very, very interesting juncture in time where we can take these media and start to explore the possibility of artificial life, artificial consciousness, maybe create real consciousness. And so my background working with tools of imagination, working for Disney Imagineering with a degree from Rhode Island School of Design and Film, Animation, Video, a strong interest in science fiction, makes me believe in the humanities combined with these other instruments of inquiry, of science and technology, entrepreneurship. So I do have the belief that the disciplines are not inherently separated. We invented them in the first place, and that that treating them as a continuum rather than as separate makes them all more powerful and gives us the power to reinvent them as well. So I do think that this is such an exciting and challenging time. I'm hopeful that these tools can make a difference in helping us solve some of the world's big problems.
David, tell me a little bit more about this very well-known co-creation of yours, which was Sophia, the robot with human face. How one can work on such ideas of such robots, and why do you think it is good that the robot looks like a human?
Well, Sophia is a work of figurative animated sculpture. She is a kind of interactive fiction as well as a platform for artificial intelligence and robotics research and development. So as an example of character animation, we are using all the tools that are available, rules-based AI and statistical-based AI. She's a neural symbolic hybrid in that regard, but we use the rules to craft this kind of interactive character. And so what we're doing effectively is using robots and AI to create physically embodied science fiction. No machine is fully conscious like a human or alive like a human, but you can breathe a certain amount into works of art. And that's what we're doing with Sophia. At the same time, she was intended like my earlier robots, like Charles Babbage, which is at Cambridge University. And I did a portrait of Albert Einstein for the Korean Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, and another one for the Institute for Neural Computation at the Cognitive Science Department at UC San Diego. another Einstein, and a Diego-san, a baby robot called Diego for the same university, and a robot called Bina 48, which is a portrait of Bina Aspen Rothblatt, really a collaboration with Bina Rothblatt and other AI scientists like Kino Corsi and also Martine Rothblatt, who commissioned the portrait. So these earlier examples are cognitive AI platforms where we're pushing the boundary, but they're also works of narrative art. And so I really like this idea that we can explore things creatively. Why make robots human-like? Well, there is the idea of the ethics of diversity and diversification, that creatively we should be exploring all kinds of forms. And I think the human-like form is inherently communicative. We are evolved for face-to-face communications. This is why we favor figurative arts of all the different kinds of arts. So I want us to form this kind of relationship with our AI, a symbiosis with the AI. And so I think this is a line of inquiry that allows us to push these emerging, perhaps, evolving machines to convergently evolve on an understanding, a mutual understanding that would allow us to cooperate and collaborate with the machines better into the future.
But in the same time, there are lots of questions about it, and ethical issues, moral issues come up. Last year, I believe Steven Spielberg made a film about a robot who was looking like a kid. And I guess there is a lot of discussion about it. Do we follow the right path? Maybe this could put us in danger because people will fall in love with robots, people will have relationships with robots. How do you see this moral and ethical aspect of this industry?
Well, I think that it's very complicated. First of all, a lot of AI happens in ways that are not human. Generally, it's not human at all. And so, in effect, we're creating alien machines, possibly alien life forms in our midst, but out of sight, out of mind. We don't necessarily think about the implications, but giving it a human-like form brings it into the human consciousness. And I think it's better to bring it into the light and talk about it. And of course, this is why science fiction is so provocative so often, is it puts the ideas right into the human mind where we can then conceptualize it, internalize it, feel it. And so I think that there is an ethics to artists, like Kurt Vonnegut said, artists may be the canary in the coal mine. Creating these works can bring these issues, opportunities, and potential dangers into people's consciousness, make us aware. Now, as far as making robots look human-like, well, first of all, they're works of art. There are provocative issues associated with it, but they're not fully conscious yet. So having a relationship with a work of art, obviously people fall in love with great characters from literature or cinema. Works of character animation, even children's books become dear to our heart, but we don't consider that to be unethical. Just because people fall in love with, the Velveteen Rabbit doesn't mean the Velveteen Rabbit is an unethical creation. And so in the same way, if we're creating these robots in such a way that they're truly great works of art and they really speak to the human heart, then it's not inherently unethical. Now, there are questions. What if they become conscious? Then we may be violating their rights by enslaving them effectively. And so one thing that I think we should consider is how all potential beings, whether they're animals or who knows, plants may be sentient, or our machines could potentially be sentient. They may be nascently sentient. Maybe we're just looking at the seeds of sentience coming into existence among us. And in this way, we would be ethically bettered if we can consider them and consider the possibilities for their future. In other words, think of them as newborns and think of how we can plot and plan a better future where humans are better for it. So yes, there are weighty and serious ethical implications. But I think that we should not censor ourselves out of fear. We should be looking at the possible positive and negative outcomes and move forward with an open mind and not shut our minds down.
Well, fascinating subject, fascinating discussion. We are looking forward to hearing your lecture during the Masters and Robots conference. So please join us on the 22nd of September. David, thanks a lot for this talk. It's controversial, it's worth discussing, it's worth visualizing, and it's a combination of art, science, robotics, and also moral, ethical issues. So hear more of David during Masters and Robots conference. Thank you a lot, David.
Oh, thank you so much.